Emergency! FTX is on the verge of insolvency. Binance buying out the exchange and crypto is dumping. Let's take a quick look at the chart and break down this action with a quick Bitcoin news report. What is up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And today we have some crazy action happening out here in the cryptocurrency space with FTX on the verge of insolvency. This is crazy. So today we're going to talk about what's happening and get a quick look at the chart and see if we can make some sense of this. Now, of course, this definitely is not financial advice. So take all this with a grain of salt and you do your own due diligence and make some wise and intelligent decisions before you jump in head first and get burnt. So the breaking news is FTX is in the middle of a dive. And this is similar to what has happened with the Luna fiasco. As we come to find out that Sam, what's his name? Scam Broke Man Fraud. Yeah, that's it. Scam Broke Man Fraud apparently did not have the liquidity to handle a situation that we are seeing happening right now. So how did this all get started? You have this 30-year-old young man who just came out of nowhere and all of a sudden made this huge splash on the crypto scene. And I can't be for certain, but I think he made his move by skimming Bitcoin transactions. I think by use of bot trading, he was able to amass a ton of Bitcoin and then use that Bitcoin to leverage himself into other positions. Now, as we all know, you can use DeFi to provide leverage to get into other assets without owning the actual funds in order to buy other assets that are out on the market. So when you go in to a market on leverage, we know that it's dangerous, but when things are moving up, you can get away with murder. But when the market switches the other way and you're out on margin, hundreds of millions of dollars buying up coins using, say, Coin ABC as your leverage, as your collateral to purchase project XYZ, but then the market goes down and the value of ABC is no longer where it was when you first purchased it, well, you get what is known as a margin call. So once that value drops below 30%, you can't cover the loan that you got to purchase XYZ. So when this happens, the actual holder of that DeFi platform will tell the individual who is leverage buying that we need you to pony up some more money to cover for this leverage trade. In other words, if it continues to go down, the DeFi platform could actually be at a great loss. Because if you, say, disappear from the scene and you sell out, you can't cover your loan because your loan was collateralized by those tokens that you locked away to get your DeFi loan. So because of that, I think we might have had a situation with Sam Bankman Fraud where he may have been out several hundred millions of dollars. I think it was around $750 million, somewhere around there. Roughly 70%, 75% of what his holdings were out on leverage. And so that means that of the billion or so dollars that he is worth, 3/4 of that was on loans. And so when the market turns and goes the other way, when it heads south to the toilet, that's when you get the good old margin call. So when this happened, well, we saw Binance's CEO, who is CZ, he kicked in and posted a couple tweets. And he said that in order to avoid another fiasco like Luna, he was going to sell off his FTX tokens on the exchange over a period of several months so as not to destroy the value of the token. But that's all that it took for everyone to panic. And boy, did that panic set in quick. So the next thing you know, FTX exchange had to halt all withdrawals on their platform. That held off the slide from, I think it was at $22 per token, the FTT token, down to about $18. And then it rebounded quickly and then took a very quick dive. So halting the withdrawals is always a bad indication whenever you're dealing with cryptocurrency or the stock market or any platform where you have people that are trading on leverage. So everyone that had tokens on that exchange, they can forget about getting those tokens out and moving them somewhere else, because a lot of those tokens are being used for leverage on other DeFi loans. So what happens is if you bought 10 FTT tokens, it goes to a big pool, and you might own 1,000% of all the FTT tokens that are on that exchange. Well, they're being used in other places because they're not owned by you in a wallet that is outside of the exchange. That's why it's so dangerous to keep large amounts of crypto on an exchange that is also using DeFi loans to leverage themselves into other positions. So once that happened, we saw the big dive taking place. So that's what we have right now. And there's other projects that are being affected, namely Solana. And you'll have to do a little bit of digging to find out why Solana is taking a hit. They took the hit first, but now it's across the board where we're seeing the majority of the entire cryptocurrency market taking a hit. And the most significant thing that is happening is Bitcoin is going down. And it is approaching a level where it has already violated the previous low that was supposedly the market bottom. We weren't supposed to go back down that far, and it actually went just a tad bit lower. And what does that mean? It means that if we go back down to that point and we don't hold it, Bitcoin is going to see some lower prices. So I think that if 17,000 and change doesn't hold, 14 is probably the next possible target. So we're going to jump in and look at the chart very quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's take it to the charts. Okay, gang, here we are on the Bitcoin chart. This is the 4-hour chart. And as you can see, things aren't looking very good. So after the news came out, we had the big slide. Now, when we had this previous action right here, where we violated the 50-day exponential moving average, I started to get a little bit concerned. But I thought for sure, once we violated that point, we would get a bounce here at the 200 exponential moving average, especially since there was a big peak node right here on the VPVR. But as we approached that line, the news came out about the FTX fiasco, and then we violated the 200 EMA. So after we failed the 200 exponential moving average, we came down and touched and then violated the red dash line. Okay, guys, so now that we have definitely failed the red dash line and have fallen below the point of control price on the VPVR, things have gotten serious. Now, we see that the stochastic tried to make a little rebound here, but it's flipping around, and it looks slightly like we're going to move upwards for now, but you can see that we have a big wick that is above the current candle, which means that momentum is actually moving downward. When you flip to the 1-hour chart, you can see that. We can also see that downstairs on the MACD, the fast line and the slow line are widening. They are diverging away from each other, and we are printing some nasty deepening bars on the histogram. So this is not good. Now, when we jump to the 1-day chart, we can see what the possibilities are for the next move. So let's just jump to the 1-day. And here we are, and we're going to scrunch this action down here, and now you can see a new line that has been plotted, which is the black dotted line of death. Okay, this is a significant line, and I'll tell you why. It's because there were several people that were reporting that this was the previous low point right there. And let's get a price of that point. It is here at 17,500 and change. This happened after the death cross on the one-day chart previously, which most people say that once you have that death cross happen, the low point comes, and that's the bottom of the market. We weren't supposed to come back down and double dip and test that line again. But here we are right here. Now, if we zoom in and take a look, let's just raise this up a little bit. We can see that we actually have broken the previous low. Very briefly, do you see that? It's right there. It is just a tad bit lower than the previous low point, and that was not supposed to happen. Maybe we bounce back from here and find support at that black dotted line of death and move upwards. This could be the point where crypto rebounds and then we go back to side banding. However, the indicators aren't saying the same downstairs on the stochastic and the MACD. Let's talk about that. So first of all, on the stochastic, we have a very nasty crossover right here. And the fast line has taken a nosedive away from the slow line. So that says that the momentum is headed downward in a fast and furious way. We also have confirmation on the fast line and slow line on the MACD oscillators. And we have just printed a red bar on the MACD histogram. Now we're below the zero line here. So those are two indications that we are now experiencing negative momentum as Bitcoin is bouncing back and forth between 18,440 and about 18,430. Now, if this plays out and this does not reverse very quickly, well, we're going to be headed back down to this black dotted line. And from that point, we're going to have to scrunch this down and see if we can find some volume on the VPVR for a possible stopping point. And I don't see any. Let's scrunch it down even more and pull in some more price history. Now we can see where the nodes are. Now, first of all, you see this one little node sticking out at 15,954. You also have one sticking out at 14 and change. And then we have 13 here, and then it jumps way up at the 11,500 range. This is why so many people were talking about the possibility of Bitcoin having a major capitulation before we complete this bear market. So I would have to say that really it's 50-50. Once again, we could find support at this black dotted line of death and bounce up and try to come back to these upper nodes, namely this node right here at 23,000. But we could also fall off of that and jump down to some of these other volume nodes below. So time will tell, and we'll just have to watch and see what happens. Now, let's clear this out and take one more look. We'll look at the 1 week. Here's the 1 week chart. And it's not looking much better. What do we see here? We see a crossover on the stochastic. Okay, here is the stochastic that just crossed over bearish right there. The blue line, the fast line, is just about ready to touch the slow line. And that crossover could mean that momentum takes us further back down into the oversold territory. We also see that the blue line on the MACD oscillator set is starting to curl over. If this follows and crosses over, a bearish crossover, then we can look for lower levels to happen. Now, again, time will only tell, and nobody can predict what this market is going to do. That's why I don't put my trust in people that claim that they know for sure that the past charts prove scientifically that the bottom is in. This is any man's game, especially when you have fiascos like the Black Swan event that we are experiencing right now. And who's to say that 10 years of Bitcoin history is enough to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we're not going to capitulate and fall out of this action that we have seen progress from day one. Maybe a major correction is what we need to get it over with, to have the data that we need to know that it is possible to fall out of that rising channel that was made so popular by Plan B. You know the one. It curls up like this, and then it says that Bitcoin never goes outside of this range. And so we've got the golden zone. You've heard about the golden zone, where each time after the death cross, we hit the golden zone and we never fall out of the golden zones, because that's the best time that you can buy Bitcoin. Well, if we fall out of this so-called golden zone, that's going to be a lesson for everybody to learn, because it's going to be a capitulation zone instead of a golden zone if we break that black dotted line of death. So that's what the charts are looking like. Let's clear this out, and then let's just jump upstairs and see what the DXY is doing. And the only bit of hope that we have right here is that the DXY has broken a key support line, which is the black ascending dash line that I brought to you in the last Bitcoin update. Now, we're looking very bearish cross over here, bearish action on the oscillators with the MACD, and this could mean that DXY could drop all the way down to the 200 moving average. But here's the bad news, guys. DXY is moving down and Bitcoin is moving down. They usually move in opposite directions. So this is the first time in a while that we see both of these charts going south. So keep your eyes on this. If we see the DXY reverse here or hit the 200 and start to move up and surge again, we're going to have a massive capitulation. You could probably bet the farm on it. So that's what the chart is looking like. Let's wrap it up and call it a day. Whew. So there you have it. That chart is kind of scary. And we just can hope and pray that there's support at that black dotted line of death. But at any rate, this could present us with a great opportunity as alts are sliding down. And as a matter of fact, only one of my projects is doing well right now, and that would be Caspa. I'll have a full report on that coming at you tonight. And maybe we'll take a glance through all the rest of the top 20 altcoins and see how they're doing. So I'll keep you posted on the Bitcoin action, but I want you to post below in the comments and let me know what you think. Is Bitcoin going to violate that new black dotted line of death? Are we going to have a major capitulation, or do you still think that the bottom is in? I'd love to know. Either way it goes, we're going to play it for the best and be smart about it. And of course, as always, I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Pro channel. I appreciate all of the kind support. In fact, let me pull up my list, because I think we did have another recent super thanks. And yes, we did. It comes from my man Carl on November the 6th with a super thanks donation of $10. Thank you, Carl, for continuing to support the channel. I appreciate you in helping me defray the costs of keeping this information coming at you, and I'll continue the hard work as long as you guys are supporting me. Well, that's all I've got. This is Carlton Flowers, your Crypto Pro, and we will see you on the next update.